Emergency information. Avigan, the silver bullet for COVID-19 will save our planet. Japanese journalist Richard Koshimizu, Richard, the Koshimizu, @gmail.com. We shall provide important information to intelligent people who correctly understand that this novel coronavirus issue is a bioterrorism caused by deep state, shadow government. Information to solve the global pandemic situation at once. COVID-19 terrorism is the final attack on humanity by deep state, which is linked to 9/11 inside job and nuclear attack in 2001. 3/11 artificial earthquake and nuclear attack, or March 2011 Japan Tohoku earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear attack. Terrorism, or 1995 Tokyo subway sarin attack. MH370 case, or March 2014 Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 missing. MH17 case, or July 2014 Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 shot down. And it is a global economic chaos scheme triggered to defend deep state's economic hegemony. In Japan, there is a silver bullet, Avigan, that can save COVID-19 patients. The active ingredient is favipiravir. A director of the Ministry of Science and Technology of China in a press conference on March 17, 2020, stated that Avigan equivalents had clear therapeutic efficacy and safety against the novel coronavirus. This news spread quickly throughout the world. Licensed product in China. Avigan is an antiviral agent developed by Fujifilm Toyama Chemical, a subsidiary of Fujifilm Holding, and is an RNA polymerase inhibitor that is effective against all RNA viruses. It is a drug with a new mechanism that inhibits the virus from copying genes in cells. Initially developed for influenza, it has been shown to be effective against SARS virus, Ebola, bird flu and more. Avigan is already approved by the Japanese Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, and Avigan good for 2 million people are stockpiled by the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare. It is prepared for a new flu outbreak. 1-4. COVID-19 corresponds to the coronavirus among RNA viruses, and shares 80% of the gene sequence with SARS virus, the same coronavirus. Professor Shiraki, Senrikenran University, a co-developer of Avigan, has stated in a television appearance that Avigan will be effective in treating severe cases of the novel coronavirus. Unlike traditional Tamiflu and Relenza, it does not transfer viral genes out of cells, so there is less risk of developing resistant viruses. An excellent and safe medicine. It was the Chinese authorities that first adopted Avigan for the novel corona treatment. The Chinese health authorities, looking for existing drugs that could be used to treat the new corona, have tested more than 130 drugs and have earlier determined that only 3 are effective for the novel corona. One of them was an Avigan equivalent. Gilead's Remdesivir has also been tested. A large number of patients out of 70 turned virus negative in 3-4 days. The Ministry of Science and Technology of China announced on February 15, 2020 that favipiravir had the highest therapeutic effect and had few side effects. Zhejiang Heijing Pharmaceutical Company, Limited, which has a license production contract with Fujifilm, has obtained approval for drug registration from US FDA. Production was commenced on February 16, and favipiravir was launched on a clinical site from February 23. It is said that they will produce 10 million tablets per month by April. Now, what was the result of introducing favipiravir into a clinical site? On March 6, Mr. Zhang, a drug research team leader at the State Council's Scientific Research Group, said, at the Shenzhen Third People's Hospital, the median change in viral nucleic acid in the favipiravir group of 45 cases was significantly shorter than that of the control group of 35 cases. The former was 4 days only while the latter was 11 days. The improvement rate of patients' chest images was 91.43% in the favipiravir test group and 62.22% in the control group, the report said. At the same time, the incidence of side effects in the favipiravir group was lower than that in the control group. That is, only 4 days to become virus negative. The improvement in pulmonary inflammation was seen in more than 90% cases. In addition, Wuhan University's Zhongnan Hospital conducted a multi-institutional clinical study of favipiravir, and 88 patients completed 7 days of clinical observation. The clinical recovery rate of the experimental group 7 days after treatment was better than that of the control group, and the temperature stabilization rate on day 3 of treatment was 81.8%, 29.5% in the control group. The cough remission rate on the 6th day of treatment was 93.2%, 68.2% in the control group. Due to high safety and clear therapeutic effect, the scientific research team formally recommended the use of favipiravir to the medical team and urgently requested that it be used for diagnosis and treatment planning. 2-4. After that, it is unknown how much Avigan, favipiravir, has been adopted in clinical practice, but it is true that the number of deaths from the novel coronavirus in China has dropped sharply. February 19, 136 people. 20, 104 people. 21, 109 people. 22, 97 people. 23, 150 people. These are the number of novel corona deaths on March 13. The adoption of favipiravir may be a pervasive outcome. On March 6, there was a report that we are conducting a large-scale clinical study of favipiravir in Wuhan. Professor Shiraki recommends that Avigan should immediately be dosed once the pulmonary inflammation is observed, without waiting for PCR results. The worsening of pneumonia seems to be the main cause of death from the novel corona, and if the infected cells are kept in a state where the number of such infected cells does not increase further, the disease can be overcome with the patient's resilience. What is afraid of pneumonia is that the human body reacts hypersensitively, exerts an autoimmune function, and produces excessive interleukin-6 in the body. This can destroy lung cells and be fatal. In China, they have begun to use tocilizumab, which suppresses interleukin-6, in combination with favipiravir as a solution. Tocilizumab is a genetically modified rheumatic drug jointly developed by Osaka University of Japan and Chugai Pharmaceutical. It suppresses the action of interleukin-6 to prevent lung cell damage. According to the Ministry of Science and Technology of China, tocilizumab has recently been used to treat critically ill patients at the forefront of Wuhan, and as of March 5, 272 severely ill patients were being treated with tocilizumab. Since the main cause of death by the novel corona seems to be pneumonia and destruction of lung cells by IL-6, if Avigan tocilizumab survives severe pneumonia patients, as a result, only 7 people will die in 1 day. In Italy, Spain, Iran and other countries where there are many deaths, this treatment should be used immediately. Avigan is definitely the magic bullet of the novel corona. If so, Japanese Abe administration of Avigan's birthplace should actively adopt Avigans and introduce them to other countries to quickly extinguish the novel corona fuss. However, at the end of February, Ministry of HLW Kado and Prime Minister Abe had just stated shortly that they would test Avigan. When we contacted the Ministry of HLW, there is no information about where hospitals use Avigan or what the results are. On TV, news reports trick people into saying that there is no drug that works for the new corona. The Abe administration, the Ministry of Health, and the media are collaborating on an Avigan crushing operation. They don't want Avigan to act as a silver bullet. There is a clear reason for that. Thus, MHLW Minister never says to media, I recommend Avigan. 3-4. Japan's Abe administration is a fellow deep state terrorist who is developing this virus terrorism. Abe Shinzo has been enslaved as a slave of deep state since the time of his grandfather, former Prime Minister Shinzo Kishi, and has been given power in return. Deep state is aiming to expand and prolong the novel coronavirus fuss globally and to disrupt the global economy. Therefore, if the novel corona turmoil is settled early by the Avigan, people who are in a bankruptcy state of deep state will be in trouble. Shinzo Abe confined that passengers of the Diamond Princess who carried the infected person to the ship ran quarantine slowly with poor hygiene, and as a result, caused a virus explosion on the ship. By design, DP was turned into a virus culture vessel. Then, the fully infected passengers were returned all at once to rural areas. With this, the new corona could be spread throughout the world, not just in Japan. Abe was criticized by the world for condemning political misconduct, but he was not. Abe committed the virus terrorism ordered by Deep State. Deep State's number of virus weapons that have been made secretly until now, without exception, will be exterminated with a single Avigan. Ebola, SARS, bird influenza H5N1, all of these are destroyed by a single Avigan. Even the HIV virus is not an enemy of Avigan. Therefore, once Avigan comes out, terrorism using the virus is no longer possible. The Abe administration had no choice but to say something about Avigan since the first trial of Avigan was made successfully in China. Taiwan and Thailand are already aware of the importance of Avigan. Both are reportedly considering importing Avigan. The Pentagon has also discovered the drug and contacted developers during the Avigan development phase. He was of great interest as a trump card against biological weapons. The Pentagon has funded a pharmaceutical manufacturer, Medivector USA, who is the Fujifilm's partner in the United States, with 100 billion yen in research into favipiravir. Therefore, it seems that U.S. President Trump is in a position to mass-produce Avigan as soon as he moves the Pentagon. Avigan has been thoroughly obstructed since the beginning of development. Professor Shiraki recalls that Avigan was labeled poison. Deep State's back association argued that teratogenicity was found in animal tests and hampered the Avigan from being approved. However, with the backing of the Pentagon, Avigan was approved with the restriction that it could be used by the Ministry of Health. Therefore, if you try to use Avigan this time, Deep State's enslaves who make a fuss would say, a malformed child will be born. Please be aware in advance. Thus, you may encounter difficulty to obtain Avigan from Abe administration as well as Fujifilm. But it is an emergency. Even if you should at Abe's official residence and intimidate, get an Avigan by all means for the patients of your country. 4-4. Contents are based on RK's slides. Please visit the link below for the original ones. Text restored and video created by YS12, an RK3 supporter. Copy left for Mr. RK and the RK3 supporters worldwide.